sir. Yes, sir. We live. We back, man. Welcome back to the Golden Goose DFS show. I am your host, Chandler Blakely, aka Goose. We are the leaders in single entry 3 max and 20 max content. But have no fear, if that's not your particular style of play, it's perfectly fine, man. No matter what style contest you play in, this is one of the best spots you can be in if you're playing NBA DFS. Trust me on this one, man. You won't be sorry. Hit that subscribe button. Turn your notification bell on so you can be here rocking with us when the videos and content drop. Also, do me one small favor while I got you clicking buttons there. Go on and click that like button for your boy, man. It's greatly appreciated. It helps the channel grow. And most importantly, get some good energy, some good karma headed your direction. So go on and do that for me, please, and thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you, all right? This is my starting 5 series where I bring you 5 plays on DraftKings and FanDuel that's more than likely going to be in my player pool. And y'all know my disclaimer. I always say more than likely just because it is NBA, man. There's always injury news up until lock, after lock. Things are constantly changing throughout the day. So plays change, guys will get ruled in, ruled out, that sort of thing. So it might not necessarily be the same starting 5 you see in this video, man. You have to be up on your news and all that. I can't do that part for you, all right? But thank you for being here. We're going to get right to it. But before we do, man, you know we got my lineup review. Going over my best lineups from yesterday's slate. Let's talk about it. Now, yesterday, man, it was I won back I lost like half my buy-in. Got half of it back. It's been a little rough week over here, man. Having some bad luck on the earlier slates with injury news and just didn't get the right combinations tonight, man. Y'all know I was on Jalen Duren. You know I was on DeMar DeRozan. But a couple of plays killed me, mainly Fontecchio. Grady Dick didn't hold up to his end of the bargain, and CP3 let me down. So that was even though I was on the highest scores on the slate and Duren and DeRozan, I just didn't get the right combination together. And I didn't have a lot of Duren DeRozan on the same lineup in my 20 max, man. The optimizer didn't really like that combination, I'm guessing. Didn't get a lot of them paired. So just those slight missteps really hurt us from having a big day because we were on the plays. But let's get into it, man. This is my highest scoring lineup in the 20 max, 297. Should be good. DraftKings hasn't closed out all their contests yet, so I don't think it'll be any stat corrections, though. We should be good here. But at the top, man, Bruce Brown, 56% on. Knew he would be chalky once we got quickly ruled in, but got Trent ruled out, so figured it'll still be Brown and Dick and quickly in that starting lineup. Wanted to get to some Bruce Brown. Got to him at 56% on, 35 fantasy points. Very solid at this mark. Kyrie Irving got to him at 3% here, going against the Golden State Warriors. I told you the 3 games that everybody was going to be in last night, and I made my stand in this late game more so with the Golden State Warriors and the Dallas game here. Was not the shootout that we thought it was going to be, not the high scoring affair that I thought, but got to some Kyrie, I got to some Luka, I got to plenty of the Warriors, especially once Draymond Green was ruled out. I had a lot of Trace Jackson Davis, but Kyrie Irving got him at 3% on this spot, man. 53 fantasy points, was very solid as Luka just had a off night or a low scoring night finally, to my chagrin, but hey, it happens. Nice night from Kyrie. Got him at low ownership, solid. Simone Fontecchio, man, just absolutely destroyed me. He just disappeared. Like, I knew he probably wouldn't have the type of performance he had the game before, but 16, I did not see that in the cards. I at least thought 25 out of it. He had been playing well, but I guess he was overdue for a dud. Really let me down the spot, and I had over this 50. I had about 75% Fontecchio, man. Absolutely destroyed me last night. Isaiah Stewart here, 19% on, only 25 fantasy points. My favorite play on the slate, Jalen Duren, absolutely crushed. But like I said, just didn't have them together with the right combination. Had plenty of them though, but Just couldn't get the right combination together. Manuel quickly wanted to get to him once he was ruled in. He was solid as well. 33% on, gave you 48 fantasy points. G.G. Jackson here going against the Charlotte Hornets, 32 out of him. And then Trace Jackson Davis. I had way over this 16% too. I had like 80% Trace Jackson Davis. Because about 10 minutes before lock, when we got that Draymond downgraded to questionable, I just knew Trey Jackson was getting the start. I thought he was going to be the best, one of the better value plays on the slate. I had like 80-90% Trey Jackson Davis, man. That hurt me as well. Only 24 fantasy points for him. Thought this would be a better spot for him, but let me down here. 297 over here. On my single entry, let me explain what happened. All right. Now, as you know, you can see it's still pretty much the starting five from the video. Minus DeRozan here. So what happened was, I had it set with CP3, Dick, Brown, Fontecchio. It was DeRozan and Duran in this particular lineup. But once we got that Draymond Green news, and I knew he was going to be out, I thought that bode well for Trace Jackson Davis and CP3. I thought with no Draymond, you could get more of them, Trace Jackson Davis and CP3 in a pick and roll game, kind of get some oops at the basket for him. Jackson Davis is pretty athletic there. I thought we could get more of them in a pick and roll combination, and they can kind of feed off each other. So with that in mind, I opted to go to Luka just to get the full-on game correlation, because if these two are playing good and it's a close game, a high-scoring game like we thought it would be, we just pretty much, you can almost guarantee Luka was going to carry the load. So that's how I got off of DeRozan in this particular lineup, man. Should have just stayed with my first mind. Not saying I would have took it down with DeRozan in here, because obviously Fontecchio killed me, and I still would have had Trace Jackson Davis and still CP3, but definitely would have scored a lot better here. So just that thought process, that's what got me up off of DeRozan here, my single entry. Should have stayed with my first mind. Like I said, we would have fared a little better, but you can see, man, the snowflakes all through. Grady Dick had tons of him too. Dick and Fontecchio, pause. Grady Dick and Fontecchio, man, had plenty of those guys. I was right with everybody on Bruce Brown as well. They failed me. CP3, just horrible game out of him as they got beat by the Mavericks over here. Luka Doncic just had an off night, and I think he hamstring or something late in the game, and they pulled him out while they was up. So probably won't be without him today. Jalen McDaniels just had to get a value piece if you wanted to fit Doncic in here. Should have went with Nora. He was the better scorer, but like I said, just you have to take chances on 3K guys if you wanted to fit Luka in your lineup. And then Trace Jackson Davis at the bottom just really let me down. So just the story of my night, man. Like I said, got about half our buy-in back. Won the total loss. FanDuel side, missed the early lock again, man. I be forgetting to put my lineup reservations over there. My placeholder lineups. But I thought it worked out in my favor once the games got going, because I didn't have Fontecchio over here, but I missed out on the likes of Duran in them. But I thought it could play to my advantage. Didn't quite work out for me. Still got the Luka over here, just a big letdown at 58% on. Got to some Scottie Pippen Jr. once he was ruled in. He was solid for us at 34 fantasy points. Luke Kennard only 27. Klay Thompson, as you can see once again, I tried to late. I knew the Toronto-Detroit game was getting a lot of ownership. Like I said, I told you it was 3 games to get to. So by going to that last game, another high total game, one of the higher totals on the slate, just didn't get the shootout I want. I figured going to this later game and getting to some of these Warriors pieces to run back with Luka could be a great way to leverage and get some low-owned guys, because I knew people weren't getting to the Warriors like that. But just didn't work out in this particular case, man. Klay Thompson only 16 fantasy points. Got to some Brandon Miller here. 32 fantasy points at 5%. Went back to John Conchar. He had a nice game. 35 fantasy points at 16% on. Wiggins and Trace Jackson was just middling. Didn't kill me, but didn't help me either. And then, I had Vooch here at center. But overtime game. I expected more from him, but I mean, what can you can't expect too much more when DeRozan was going off having the game he had. But 33 fantasy points here from Vooch. All right, that was the story of my night. Let's get to today's slate, man. And I got FanDuel plays for y'all, but I don't know if I'm going to play over there. They didn't cut it down to a 4-game slate on FanDuel. So the tale of two different sites. You got a 6-gamer on DK and a 4-gamer on FanDuel. We'll get over there in just a second, but I'm really contemplating not playing on FanDuel. But let's get into it. Point guard at the top, man. Sorry I ain't got these plays in here for y'all. Y'all know I usually have them in here. We're going to run through them a little fast, though. Maybe without Luka Doncic here, man. Give me Kyrie Irving, 8,400. If Luka is out, you know it's going to be the Kyrie show. He going to do everything for this team. Will truly be the point guard going against the Oklahoma City Thunder here. Just get the plenty of them. Love the price tag for everything is his over here. It's his show. Give me Kyrie Irving if you don't have Luka Doncic. That being said, if Luka is out, we're going to stay in that same game. And you can give me Dante Exum here at 3,600. Should step into the starting lineup. We saw him come in and finish the game out once they took Luka out with his injury. So, they like to be careful with Luka, and it's the second night of a back-to-back. I really think he sits here in this spot, and you can sign me up for Kyrie Exum. It's going to open up some other Mavericks, too. Luka not being out there gives so much usage to go around, so many shots to go around. Kyrie Irving going to get the bulk of it, but it's still going to be spread around to the other guys, too. And I like getting a Dante Exum at 3,600. Probably be a high-owned piece, chalky piece, but it's good chalk, man. I think you can just get to him in this matchup. At the small forward, I want to look at PG-13 here. Could be without Kawhi Leonard. He's another guy they like to be cautious with. Back spasms the other night. Looked like back was tightening up on him on the sideline. So we'll have to wait and see if he's good to go. Plus, we got Harden questionable here with a shoulder strain. Now, he's the guy, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard hasn't really got, they got rest for a game. James Harden is the one who hasn't really got rest. So, if it truly is questionable like they say, I think you can see Harden rest in this spot. I don't know if they rest him if Kawhi is out. If Kawhi is back, I for sure think Harden rests. But if Kawhi is out, maybe they feel like they need Harden and he plays through it. But he's overdue for a rest out of this big three over here. If both of them is out, man, or even just one of them is out, give me PG, man. It will be his show. Slower pace game here going against the Bulls. It's going to slow him down. But with those stars out, he gets all the usage, all the shots. Sign me up for Paul George. But definitely going to need that injury news. We should get it before lock, hopefully, since this is like a 30-minute window between this game and the first one. So keep your eye on for that. But definitely looking at PG-13 here. At the power forward spot, want to look at Kyle Kuzma, 8,200. Now, we're going to need that Rashawn Holmes news, but that doesn't affect Kuzma too much. All that does is affect his position. He may slide to the center like he did last time out if Rashawn Holmes is out, but just expecting Kuzma to handle the bulk of the load. He's the leader on this Wizards team. He is the primary scorer, the alpha. Everything goes through him. Solid matchup here against the Houston Rockets. I'm continue to play Kuzma. He just been solid. I think he has a pretty safe floor, and he has 50-point upside. So give me some Kyle Kuzma here. And then at the center, man, we're going to stay in that same game. And I'm going right back to my boy, Jabari Smith Jr. Now, I'm expecting Houston to roll out that same lineup they did last time. So Jabari Smith Jr. should get the start at center. And we all know, man, centers absolutely destroy Washington, man. You take centers against the Wizards. I'm going right back to Jabari Smith Jr. Even though he let us down last time, I think we can get right back to him at 6,600. I'm expecting a nice bounce back performance from him in this spot. Alright, there you have it, your starting five for DraftKings, man. Kyrie Irving, Dante Exum, Paul George, Kyle Kuzma, and Jabari Smith Jr. Get you some exposure to these guys. Get them in your player pools. You know they're going to be in mine. Let's go take a look at FanDuel and see what they got cooking on this 4-game slate. Alright, at the top, I want to look at Tyrese Maxey, 8,900. Going against this Milwaukee Bucks team. They've been improving. Lost last time out. But they've been improving since the All-Star break, playing better. But the defense hasn't gotten that better, and they give it up to point guards. And we know Maxey runs the show with no Embiid over there. It's his offense to run. Might be a little tougher scoring inside, getting to the rim with the likes of Giannis and Brook Lopez down there. Had to be a little more outside shooting, but he's a very capable shooter and can get it done. I like getting the Maxey here going against these Milwaukee Bucks. At the shooting guard spot, I want to look at Ayo Dosunmu. Looking like we're going to be without Kobe White tonight, man. I expect him to step in right there at that point guard spot. We don't know what the starting lineup is going to be. I would imagine it's Dosunmu, Caruso, DeRozan, and they probably bring Torrey Craig into the starting lineup once again, and then Vooch down there at center if I had to guess. But expecting Ayo Dosunmu just to step into that point guard role for these Bulls. He's been playing well. Now you take Kobe White off the court, so more ball handling for him. A few more shots for him in this spot. A little more usage. I like getting Ayo Dosunmu at 6,300. At the small forward, staying with Paul George, 8,200. Like I said, just waiting on that news, man. But if we get Kawhi and we get James Harden out, man, you know it's PG-13. Just sign me up all day, every day. We get those two guys out. PG and Kyrie is just going to be two probably locks for me. I'm going to have heavy Kyrie for sure with no Luka. And Paul George if we get those two guys out. But sign me up for PG-13 here in this spot against the Bulls. At the power forward, staying with my guy, Jabari Smith Jr., 7,100. Like I said, I'm anticipating him starting at the center again. I think he has a big bounce back performance in a great spot here against the Wizards. Give me all the Jabari Smith Jr. here at 7,100. And then at the center spot, I got my eye on Richaun Holmes. He's getting closer to getting back. We have to see if he's all the way back. If he plays, I definitely don't mind getting to him. Should get the start, man. Live for a double-double. Give me some Richaun Holmes if he's starting. If he's out, man, we adjust accordingly. But this is another spot. Hopefully we have the news before 7:30 lock, all right? There you have it, your starting five on FanDuel. Richaun Holmes, Jabari Smith Jr., Paul George, Ayo Dosunmu, and Tyrese Maxey. Get you some exposure to these guys. Get them in your player pools. You know they going to be in mine, all right? That's going to do it for us here today. Y'all know the motto. Chances make champions. Y'all green up. I'll catch y'all next time, all right? Let's get it.